And this will be by Dr. Madhusmita and Shubhojit Paul. And the title of the paper is Global Media and Popular Geopolitics, a View on the Israel and Palestine Conflict. So over to you, Dr. Madhusmita. If you're ready, you can start.
Thank you so much, and very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Madhusmita Barua, and along with my co-author, Mr. Shubhajit Paul. So we are going to present on this topic, global media and popular geopolitics, a view on the Israel and Palestine conflict. So can you please go to the next slide? Yes. So this study is based on two key objectives. It is for the first is to examine the politics of representations in the global media in framing the idea of other in context to this conflict between Israel and Palestine. So this analysis is emphasizing on two key frames, that is territorial disputes and another one is religious dispute, with special reference to the conflict that happened in May 2021. The second objective of this study is to analyze the geopolitical stance of two global media outlets under this study, that is WION, which is the Indian global media based in India, and the other one is Qatar-based Al Jazeera, and the sampling is based on purposive sampling, as we have considered two sources from these two media outlets, and we have taken Gravitas Plus from the WION, that is the Indian global media, and we have considered Inside Story, that is from Al Jazeera. So to understand this conflict between Israel and Palestine is it's a very old conflict, a century-old conflict, can say. So to understand this conflict between Israel and Palestine, so we have to go through the history of geopolitics between these two countries. And if you see that the root of these conflicts is in the Zionist project of British colonizations, and it was the project that was all about calling the Jewish people to settle in Israel. In Palestine. I'm so sorry. And especially after 1917, in the Balfour Declarations, it is after Balfour, who was the British Foreign Secretary. So he gave this Balfour Declarations, which was basically to relocate the Jewish people from different countries, different parts of the Europe, and they were given a national home by Balfour Declarations, and that is 1917. So after that Balfour Declarations, the mandate state was formed. If you see in this picture, you can see how the territory of Palestine had been changing throughout different periods. So after 1917, after formation of these British mandate Palestine, the period from 1920 to 1948, there were so many clash or conflict between these two group of population, the Jews and people who belong to Palestine were going on, and specifically a nationalist movement was there in this period. And in 1948, if you see this chronological order, in 1948, the state of Israel was formed and Palestine got its independence from British colonizations. So after these formations of Israel as a state, in 1967, Israel occupied Gaza and West Bank, and thousands of Palestinian peoples were displaced from their home and became refugees. And again in 1995, as per the Oslo Accords, these occupied this West Bank and was divided into three sections, that is Area A, Area B, and Area C. So Area A come under Palestine control, and Area B came under both the Palestinian and Israeli control, and Area C was under Israeli control. So if you see these, with the changing geopolitics or changing history, or as a result of different war and conflicts, this scenario this territorial scene in this state of Palestine has been changing. To understand the India stays in this Israel and Palestine conflict, you have to go to the period from 1948 to this 2021. So in 1948, immediately after India got its independence, and in 1948, as I say, that Palestine got its independence from the British colonization. So India, at that point of time when Jawaharlal Nehru was the prime minister, first prime minister, the pro-Palestine narratives was going on, because Jawaharlal Nehru at the time and India was one of the first country who recognized Israel as a state, and it opposed the UN two-state solutions, which was basically was advocating for partitions of Israel and Palestine. So again, coming to the 1950, the diplomatic scene, or the diplomatic relationship between India and Israel changed, and along with Indo and Palestine also has been changing. So in 1950, if you see the chronology, that India recognized state of Israel. In 1950, India recognized the state of Israel under a ninth Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, and in 1990, there was a diplomatic relationship with Israel, and India established this diplomatic relationship for different strategic reasons and for defense and economic factors. So coming to the current period, that is from 2017 to 2021. So in 2017, the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel. So after that, if you see the foreign policy between Israel and Palestine, Indo-Israel and Indo-Palestine has been changing, and we can see that India is adopting a de-hyphenated foreign policy. It means India is taking independent foreign policy separately with the two states. For example, India is adopting foreign policy independently with Israel and also with the Palestine, irrespective of the conflict that is going on between this Israel and Palestine. So coming to the conceptual framework on which this study is based on, that is the popular geopolitics. So this study is based on this theoretical framework called popular geopolitics, and this popular geopolitics as a branch of this geopolitics, as an approach of geopolitics to understand how the politics between in the international relationship, how the struggle for power is going on at a global politics level. So in popular geopolitics as an approach to understand this geopolitics, is all about an academic approach to understand how media is representing this global politics or global affairs in different media texts. Okay, so in popular geopolitics, considering popular geopolitics, it is like how the truth is being constructed in the media and how they are using different frames. Their media portray some geographical framing, use some geographical framing to represent one particular state or one particular geographical location. So popular geopolitics is all about the relationship between power, that is the global power, and the politics, global politics, you can say. So it is a relationship between the power, representation, and audience. So popular geopolitics includes these critical relationship between these three elements: how global politics is going on, how media is representing it, and how it is creating critical relations with the audiences. So this study is basically based on two key approaches of this popular geopolitics, and we are considering a multi-perspective approach to look at the study we have taken. That is approach from a cultural studies approach and political economy of this study. So political economy of the global media we have taken for this study, and the two global media we have taken, as I have already said, it is WION and Al Jazeera, and we are trying to analyze how these two global media outlets is representing or portraying this conflict and representing the concept of villain and hero, with special reference to the conflict that happened in May 2021. So to understand this event, to understand how WION and Al Jazeera is representing, so we have to understand the political economic context of these two global media outlets. So first is the WION, which was established in the year 2016, and it is the first global news channel in India, and WION is part of the Z network, by under the chairmanship of Subhash Chandra Goenka, and who is a BJP-backed member of Rajya Sabha. So coming to the political economic context of Al Jazeera, and it started operations in the year 1996, and acquires all Al Jazeera of governments. So it's a Qatar-based media outlets. So the period from 1992 to 2000, it is considered as the Al Jazeera era. So Al Jazeera has been able to successfully cover different conflict that has been going on throughout the different periods regarding based on different geopolitical contexts. So it is an intifada by the Gulf, or also to acquire exclusive access to the Afghanistan war. So, as I said, our study was basically based on two objectives. One, to understand the geopolitical stance of these two global media outlets, one WION and Al Jazeera. So I will just briefly summarize what our study has found out from geopolitical stance. And if you see that, considering the relationship, the dehyphenated relationship of India and the Indian relationship with Israel and Palestine, the WION is tilted towards the Indian positions on this Israel and Palestinian conflict, and it is gradually accepting the two-state solution. So, as I said, in the very initial state, that is in 1948, India was opposing these two-state solutions. But if you see that with the changing geopolitics and the adopting this dehyphenated policy, is also, from our analysis, we have found that the coverage or the narratives they are representing, it's all about how they are trying to represent this relationship of Indo-Israel and Indo-Palestine. So coming to the representations in Al Jazeera regarding their geopolitical stance, we see that we have found that this narrative is represented in Al Jazeera was more about Palestine, and it was governed by this anti-Zionist ideology. So anti-Zionist ideology was all about the relocating or resettling the Jewish people in Palestine. So if you see that the content in Al Jazeera, it was all about this opposing this anti-Zionist political ideology, and it was more about pro-Palestine narratives. So coming to the
your time is over. Please
just it's the one just last time. So it is the second objectives we talked about. It is the identity politics, how they represent the other here in these two media outlets. So WION was not emphasizing the frame of ethno-religious identity, rather it was representing the Israel-Palestine conflict more as a territorial dispute, and Al Jazeera was equating state of Israel with Jewish religious identity and representing Jew as the colonizer and Palestinians as a holistic national identity they used, and they were represented as being colonized. So coming to conclusions, we have seen the different political economic factors played a crucial role in these constructions of these discourses and these two media outlets. We have found a different approach in these two outlets representing the religious identity from both Indian and West Asian perspective. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.